Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Football.
And welcome into the Inside Arkansas Football pregame show presented by Bet Saracen. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate everybody for making us a part of your morning this morning as we are getting you geared up for this banger of a matchup that I know everybody's been looking forward to. They circled on their calendars before the season started as the game for the Arkansas Razorback football team. As for the second straight week, fellas, we have the battle of the defeateds in the SEC. Something's got to give. One of these teams got to get their first SEC win. How we feeling here on this game day and the first day of November?
Well, it gets no better than this. Two teams with their back against. Yeah, I'm going to watch. Or am I? Actually, I haven't checked this morning to see if they figured it out with YouTube TV. Maybe I'll just do the follow the stat broadcast and then do the post-game show afterwards, and we'll see how much sense it makes. But yeah, man. Hey, it's college football. I'm always going to be looking forward to watching the Razorbacks. It's unfortunate, I would say, for both fan bases that this season is at where it's at for these two teams. But somebody's going to walk out of there today with an SEC win. So they got that going for them. And whether people want to admit it or not, Arkansas's results, as well as many others around the country, it will impact some of the things going into this coaching search that everybody's very fired up about. So anxious to see how the team looks. How do they respond after that just gross performance? Another close loss, but that one felt different, didn't it? This Talon bounce back. There's some things to look into for this football game, but yeah, it doesn't have the luster that maybe people hoped it would coming into the season. Some people hope that this would be the game where Arkansas would clinch bowl eligibility, and here they sit at 2-6. So we'll make the best of it. Looking forward to watching and then talking to you guys about it afterwards.
Yeah, the thing that really sucks about it is if Arkansas had found a way to win that Auburn game any way, shape, or form, then this game would actually really mean something. You know, like there would really be something you could talk about for Arkansas. But here you are in the second straight week. You're facing a team that is winless in the SEC. You just can't lose two straight loser bracket games. You know, you can't lose two battles of the misfits because then that makes it without a doubt. I know Arkansas doesn't get to play Kentucky because they're the other one that's maybe the other in this mix, but you just can't lose twice to two teams that, frankly, when we looked at this whole schedule of, you know, really preseason and even when Bobby Petrino took over, we looked at these two games and said, well, they should be able to win those two games, right? This is back against the wall. Like, you just have to win a game here, and we'll see if Arkansas can do it, man. And I don't know if it really will mean anything if they do, but you got to show us that you have some kind of life. You've played close in some games. We all agree you're like the best 2-6 team of all time, but you got to win a game. You got to actually accomplish something in this season, or else really it's going to be just even more infuriating than it's already been.
Yeah, and that's where it's like if you lose this game, it feels like you're going to lose the final three. It's just how it's going to be. And if that's the case, boys, you go 0-8 in SEC. And really fun fact, that would be your fourth season of going 0-8 in the SEC in 12 years. Your fourth. So I hate to put a damper on already a dumpster fire, but that's kind of what you're looking at right now. So yeah, this game's not going to really change a whole lot of people's minds on anything, but just to not have an 0 season would kind of be like, as sad as it is, the motivation. Just don't go 0. That's what you got to ask for.
You know how much pressure there is on teams when they've got like a historically long winning streak going on, and it's like, oh, somebody's going to get us eventually, and just starts building. And sometimes they take that loss, and it's the best thing that ever happened to them or whatever. What is it like when you have to play the team that has the seriously long losing streak? Like Arkansas snapped theirs from the Chad Morris days against Mississippi State when Sam Pittman took over, and now Mississippi State's got this long SEC losing streak going on, and I'm like, all right. They're going to get somebody. They almost got Tennessee, but they didn't. They almost got Texas, but they didn't. They've been in some competitive games, and we talked about it during our season predictions, and it holds true now. Everybody over there, if they were looking for one game to get, they circled Arkansas on the calendar, and I don't know how much motivation they have there. Their program is just kind of in a different spot than where Arkansas is, although I think people are starting to get a little frustrated with the Jeff Levy thing. It's like, all right, my guy, at some point you got to get some dubs here. But who's the more motivated team? Who's going to execute? All those things come into play here. I don't want to be the team that loses to Mississippi State to get them off the schneid. Like, extend it one more week, please, and thank you.
Yeah, it sucks because I feel like going into the Auburn game, Arkansas was the team that had more to gain from this game, because Auburn beat Arkansas, and I don't really think it changed much for that Auburn fan base. Had Arkansas won that game, I think we would be having a very different conversation. And now I come into this week, and I look at Mississippi State, and I think Mississippi State is the team that has much more to gain for this for a lot of those reasons, because this would be kind of not a signature win by any means, but you got to get that first SEC win out of the way. That would be their 5th win of the season, would have them on the cusp of bowl eligibility. Coming off a 2-10 year, I feel like if Mississippi State wins this game here today, that officially clinches like Jeff Lebby as, safe and on the right track. And that gives that program something to believe in, something they can build for. And Arkansas really doesn't have that opportunity unless, maybe they just win out or something like that. And so I do wonder, that's the thing that, last week we talked about letting go of the rope, and would Auburn maybe do that? I think Arkansas has to be on firm let go of the rope watch here today. We'll see if they kind of battle any of those demons. That's what sucks about it, is because I look at this matchup, and just like a lot of these matchups, I'm like, man, yeah, Arkansas could be competitive in this game. Arkansas could win this game. There's no reason why, Mississippi State would just come in here and blow Arkansas out. But who knows what version of this Arkansas team is going to show up, and who knows if they care at all at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive if you can have 2 let-go games in one season, because Arkansas is looking at that. It's usually just one, but that seems to be the case right now. And I know we'll talk about some of the things that will impact as far as if Arkansas wins or loses this game. We'll do that in a second. But I want to remind everybody that here on the Inside Arkansas Football pregame show, we have OZK Insurance to tell you about, because nobody wants to deal with the hassle of shopping around. And that's why we always use and always recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they're Arkansas fans, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and price for you, which, let's be honest, it's going to save you time and money, which we all want to save. And it's always a good thing when we save time and money. And it can be home, it can be auto, it can be business, anything, you name it, they got it. And it can be Saturdays in Razorback Stadium or at Bud Walton Arena. Or in everyday life, you want protection that you can count on. And they have over 600 5-star Google reviews, which you can't beat. You cannot beat that. That shows you how great they are. So count on OZK Insurance to get a free online quote today at ozkinsurance.com, or call 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. So guys, we're talking about, the win-loss, however that is, but it kind of comes down to Bobby Petrino. And what I'd still think, from my belief, that he still wants the job, and that Auburn loss really put a wrench into everything that maybe he was hoping for. But there's still 4 games left, and I know that we even talked about, if he wins his final 4 games, then he'll probably get the job. It's like, I don't even know what to make of that, but it's got to start here. So if Arkansas wins this game, what does this do for the Bobby Petrino crowd of saying, he needs the job? Or for Bobby Petrino himself? Like, what does this do, if anything, if he's able to get a win against Mississippi State?
It kicks the can down the road 2 more weeks, because you got the bye week after this. It keeps whatever thin sliver of hope there is alive. If they lose this game on the flip side, and then you go into the bye week, doesn't it feel like reality's probably set in for everyone? Like, I just really wonder what those next 3 weeks could potentially look like at that point, because you have to start really considering some things. I'm sure a lot of these guys are already doing this. That's just kind of the nature of the situation they're in. But, the certain guys on the staff start, kind of sniffing around and putting out those feelers elsewhere. It's like, dude, I'm going to be without a job. I got to start figuring this out. To some of the players, tell their representation, hey, go ahead and hit up so-and-so, let them know I'll be in the portal. What do I need to do? What's my market looking like? You'll start kind of seeing some of that. If they win, it keeps the dream alive, and it's not going to strum up that momentum and just completely flip the script back to where we were this time a week ago before that Auburn game, because it's just a completely different world that we're living in now after the way that went down. But you'll start to see more people jump back on the, with this coaching search going the way it's going and all these jobs opening up, he's proven he can win here before. You'll start getting some more of that, and then we'll have 2 weeks to think about it, and we'll see what happens afterwards. But, I think it would just, in my opinion, prolong the inevitable, which is that Arkansas is going to wind up with somebody else here, but it would still keep the dream alive for those who are wanting to live in nostalgia.
Yeah, it is weird. It's rare that kick the can down the road is used as almost a good expression, but I do think that's kind of what it would be for Arkansas here. Arkansas is not going to go 4-0 down the stretch. They're not going to win out. Like they're not good enough to avoid doing something stupid and having this awesome story where they went out and go to a bowl game. That's not going to happen. But I do think if you win this game, you can at least, if you're Bobby Petrino, if you're that coaching staff, if you're one of the many seniors on this team who don't have a ton to play for other than, your own individual pride. And, maybe a few of these guys will have a chance to play elsewhere. But you have to at least give yourself something to believe in, something to strive toward. And so we'll see if Arkansas is able to do that. I think also going into the bye is so pivotal. I mean, Arkansas literally at their last bye week fired the coach and the entire defensive staff. And so we know that bye weeks can oftentimes be a transition period. It can be a period where you reevaluate where your program stands. I just don't think if you're a Razorback and you're a senior who's starting on this team and you're someone that has a lot of care for what you can do this season, I just don't think you want to go into a bye week 2-7 and causing that big picture analyzation, where you're like really thinking, okay, do we start playing younger guys? Do we just kind of abandon ship? Do we just restart everything? And so I'm with you, Curtis, that I don't think that there's like a Cinderella story in here somewhere. But I do think if you're a player on this current Razorback team, specifically a senior, because once you are no longer bowl eligible, it really becomes tough to be a senior on a college football team. And so I think these guys just need to fight to avoid that as much as they can. And listen, you're not going to win out. You're not going to do anything crazy, but go as far as you can and make this thing fun. And like you said, Curtis, give some people hope. Give those people that love Bobby some hope. And honestly, I think the thing that helps Arkansas in this equation is you look at the schedule and it's like LSU just fired their coach. Texas is good and more talented than you and going to beat you, but they're not like unbeatable. This team that you can't compete with. I mean, the worst team in the SEC took them to overtime. Missouri at home, that's a tough game, but it's like if you could get to that,
they just lost their quarterback.
They did just lose their quarterback. If you could just get to that Missouri game and have something to play for, I think that would be, considering where we're at right now, that would be a massive win. And so I don't know if Arkansas is necessarily cut out to do that, but I think you just have to give yourself something to believe in, something to fight for moving forward.
Yeah, and I'll take it to this point where I've wanted to see how this played out with Bobby, and I'm not wanting Bobby as the head coach permanently moving forward. Obviously, things can change and depending on how this goes. But now I've kind of gotten to the point where I want the win for Bobby, just because I don't want Bobby's. We already know about the motorcycle thing, but it's like I don't want Bobby's kind of like his resurgence or his ability to come back and maybe do something to be an 0-7 record. I don't want that to happen for him, because say what you want about Bobby, say what you want about if he's the coach or not, he's still Bobby Petrino. Like there's still going to be a soft spot in people's heart for him. And, his coming back to Arkansas was a really cool story. The guy that got emotional about it, the guy, I get it. If you don't want him as the permanent head coach, I get it. Like totally. And I'm not arguing for that, but just for him, just for his sake, just for his comeback and hoping to give Arkansas something, and for all the things that went down, I would just really love it for him to get a win. 0-7 would just be so sad and so disappointing. And I know it would be for him. So again, not saying he needs to be the permanent head coach, not saying any of that, but just for Bobby, I'd like him to just have that one win on his belt as the head coach of Arkansas once again. So that way he can have something to hold his head held high about coming back to Arkansas.
I think it's a good lens to look at this through, John. I'm with you 100% on that. You don't want it to be a full-on disaster. Now, it already was, and that's the reason why Arkansas is in this position and why he's in this position. But still, I agree 100%. He did a lot of good things when he was the coach here previously, and we all know about the falling off a cliff there from a perception standpoint and building it back up, and just everything that went into this. It's been a wild and unprecedented story. You would at least like him if this is going to be it for him at Arkansas, or is his hopes of getting the job back or whatever, have a measure of success there. You don't want it to be a complete and utter failure, even though you're in a tough spot going into it. So I'm with you, and this is their best opportunity to get one.
No matter who the next head coach is, the next era of this program is going to look very different. And so honestly, even if Bobby were hired as the head coach, it's not like all of these guys on this team would be a part of it moving forward. And I don't think that being forgotten by Razorback fans is something that is a concern to this team. But it is very easy for you as a college football player on a bad team to just kind of fade into oblivion and be someone that we never really think about ever again. And, we'll just move on and kind of wipe that from our memory. And, we always talk about these players' motivation and what they have to prove, what they have to fight for. And it always varies. And we always have these talking points. I just think, like, dude, you're a college football player in the SEC. You came to Arkansas to try and make your dreams come true. Like, you should be able to go out there and play football and fight and give a good effort. And, that's something you can take with you for the rest of your life. And then who knows, maybe this program, they hire a new coach and they move on, but you could be a part of maybe the beginning of making that culture how it's supposed to be. And so, I think that's, as fans, I don't think we're all going to tell our grandkids about this year overall, but it would be nice if they could give us some nice little silver linings of like, hey, we knew that the spark wasn't completely out. We saw these guys fighting. They got that huge third down stop. There's still something in there. I'm not necessarily expecting to see that from these Razorbacks, but I would love to see some of these guys take some pride in, if not the program, at least themselves.
Yeah, real quick before we move on, just to say for fun, if Bobby and this Razorback team, the final 4 games, they're only going to win one. They're only going to win one. Bobby's not going to be the head coach or no matter what. Like they're going to win one. Which game do you pick for you want them to win? Like you can have any choice, but they only get one of the final 4 games. Which one would it be?
I was very compelled to just automatically say win at Texas, but I think Missouri. Get the last one. We're tired of losing to those dudes. It's kind of the people talk about how important first impressions are. There's your last impression. Go out with some dignity and a smile on your face. That would probably be the one I pick. I have no idea what those two teams are going to look like at that point, but I would rather our last conversation about it be a good one.
The only caveat I'd say with Missouri is if Drink leaves before that game, that win all of a sudden means nothing. You know what I mean? Like if he leaves for Penn State on that Monday and then you beat him on Friday or Saturday, it's like that would maybe make it less satisfying because then it's like you kind of have a built-in excuse. So that's kind of why I'm not picking LSU, where I'm like, their coach has already been fired. I'm not even going to be able to make fun of any of my buddies. So I think it's got to be Texas or Missouri. Any game that has stakes that you could actually ruin another team's seasons or their plans for whatever they're doing. I sign me up for that. I think I'm inclined to say Missouri, man. I'm tired of losing every Thanksgiving to Missouri.
Sick of it, man.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was going to say too with Missouri. I was hoping that in one case though it would be to keep them out of the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to beat A&M, and I mean they still got Oklahoma. They already got 2 losses, so I feel like 3 losses would take them out. But if they found a way to like beat A&M, beat Mississippi State, beat Oklahoma, and then it's like, oh, they know if they beat Arkansas, they're in the playoffs. That would be like the sweetest thing of just being the ones that kept them out and finally getting that monkey off your back. So I'm with you. I'm with you. We'll get into some of our real bold predictions here on Inside Arkansas Football pregame show. But I want to remind everybody the Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas has you covered this holiday season. Halloween is already over, and I know that a lot of you are going to start turning your focus to Thanksgiving and into the Christmas holiday, but you always got to get those Christmas lights up as soon as possible. Well, don't do it yourself. Don't do all that work and all that time and trouble because you don't have that. Let the professionals do it. Let Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas help you out with it. If you're in the Northwest Arkansas or in the River Valley, they will come to your house and install them. They provide all the materials for the lights. They can do any color, any pattern that you want, and you get free maintenance throughout the holiday season, and they do the takedowns there in January, and they set up your house looking really incredible. And I know that it's a lot of people, even Curtis did his pod at the Palace a little bit of action there for his Halloween lights the other day, and it's awesome. So you can check that out and see the great job that they do, but they also have a Facebook page where you can see all the hundreds of different examples of all the great lighting that they do for your home. And it's really easy to do. All you got to do is text our guy Brett at 479-459-1380. That's 479-459-1380. When you send him a text, he's going to get you a free estimate. He's going to let you know exactly what they're going to do. It's that simple. So have your home be the talk of the neighborhood with Christmas lights here this holiday season with Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting expert. All right, so guys, bold predictions for this game. Me and Curtis were kind of laughing before we started here. It's like the bold prediction might be Arkansas winning. But we're going to be a little bit more specific and fun on that one. I'll go and kick it off with my bold prediction. My bold prediction is Braylon Russell follows up his performance last year where he had, I think it was like 175 rushing yards with another 100-yard plus game. I'm not going to sit here and say he goes for 175, but I think that we've seen Braylon Russell here and there. Mike Washington's been awesome, but I think that this might be the Braylon Russell show where he just finds something. They get some sort of groove going with him in the run game, and he gets over 100 yards, over the century mark for the Razorbacks in this one. I know that you'll take offense, however, it can happen, and it's kind of crazy when you really think about that Arkansas where it stands right now in the SEC has the third most passing yards by a quarterback, the third most rushing yards by a running back, and third most receiving yards by a wide receiver, all in the SEC. Braylon Russell's none of those guys, but I think it makes it to be his day today against Mississippi State. Has over 100 yards, maybe on like 8 carries, maybe has a huge run, nice average there. Hopefully gets into the end zone on top of it. But I think Braylon Russell follows up his big game from a year ago where unfortunately he did suffer that injury. He doesn't get injured, but he has a great game. Give me Braylon Russell.
Yeah, I would, he's probably going to have one of those big runs that he breaks off in order to do that. Braylon Russell's had one game this season with double-digit carries. That was against Alabama A&M. He's had, 4 carries and 3 in the last 2 games. Maybe in this one he'll get 6, 7, and then we'll see if he can break off a few big runs and get to that number there. But that is a bold prediction, John. I like that quite a bit. I'm going to go because I don't know. I assume to get weird at this point of the season. Give me a fat boy touchdown, man. Give me a fat boy touchdown in this game. Could it be as simple as the mouse package where we've got our man Shaq McCroy who gets it across the goal line? Maybe, although we'll see what the offensive line situation looks like. He might be starting and playing a lot there for all that we know. But that would be one to keep an eye on. Could we get something cool? A scoop and score. Who would be good for it? If Arkansas had a defensive lineman, a big fella with a scoop and score. Cam Ball's back.
Yeah, I would love for it to be Cam Ball. I mean, I know this year hasn't gone the way he wanted. I know that he's been a part of some losing seasons, but I think it would be cool to send him out with something. He's a great dude, man. Like, and I think he deserves to have at least one great moment before his Razorback career ends.
Jafar would be the funny one for me. Ian Jafar, if he had like a scoop and score of like 32 yards, but then he just like collapsed out of his breath was out. Like, yeah, that'd be great.
It would be incredible. And, my mind got going on this when we had Carmona with the carry on the EA Sports video game stream on Thursday. And then I think back to last year's game, and you guys remember like how many times Mississippi State just turned it over on the goal line. And that was just such a weird game last year. Arkansas wound up winning by quite a bit. So sure, give me something cool like that. Fat boy touchdown, bold prediction.
Okay, my bold prediction, and this may be a borderline like sacrilegious bold prediction. I think that at some point during this game, Arkansas will make a change, and I think they will make a change at the quarterback position. I think there will be a point. Now, listen, injury doesn't count. If Taylor Green comes out and gets a concussion in the first quarter, doesn't count. I'm not gonna do a victory lap. Perhaps maybe an injury or like maybe just health will be part of the decision making. Like maybe he's taken a few hits. It's the third quarter. The offense isn't getting anything going, but I think Arkansas will be making a change. I don't think it's going to be a directly like, hey, Taylor, you suck, you're done. I just think it's going to be a, hey, changing of the guard. Things aren't going well. You're banged up. We need a spark. That Chad Morris word he used to use. Wait, he gave us a spark. I think Arkansas will make a move at the quarterback position. I think it will also come out. I think Mississippi State's defense is not very good, personally. So I think Arkansas should have opportunities to make a lot of plays, and I think they'll probably make a few. I think it's going to be one of those where it's like you didn't make the plays that we thought you were there for you. You're not making the easy plays, and that's why we're making this decision. We just feel like we kind of need something different, and I think it will be kind of a changing of the guard as Arkansas' season starts to slip away officially.
So, Andrew, if that's the case, I'm curious, like, you can't play Taylor the rest of the season then, right? I mean, you can't make the change in this game and then, during the bye week, then you go back to him, do you?
I wouldn't think so. No, I mean, you could. I mean, you could do whatever you want to do.
Right.
I think now also if KJ Jackson comes in and stinks it up, maybe it makes it a little bit easier to go back to Taylor. But I'm kind of with you, John. I think that, especially, by the way, if Arkansas loses their 7th game, which, is in play here, once you lose that 7th game, it becomes really hard to be like, oh yeah, we got to roll with the seniors just cause. And so I think I'm with you. I think it would probably signal the end of the Taylor Green era at Arkansas. I think it would probably be at that point. KJ Jackson's a redshirt freshman. I'm sure Bobby would go to the press conference and say, hey, he's starting to turn the corner. He's starting to mature. He's starting to advance. And I think if you can get any type of good play out of him, that would be something that would probably excite people more than anything else.
Yeah, I'd be curious about if Bobby Petrino's ever benched a quarterback at Arkansas, at least due to performance. Like maybe when it was like Casey Dick and he went with Nathan Dick a little bit.
He benched Casey for his brother Nathan.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it would also maybe change the conversation a little bit. Think about all the people that love Bobby but can't quite get behind him because they haven't won a game. If KJ Jackson comes in the fourth quarter and throws 2 touchdowns and maybe they lose by 1, it's like, oh, well, now we can move into this second half of the year here. Maybe they beat Texas with KJ. You can start making that argument a little bit.
Yeah, I just can't wait for the spin zone pretzel that people are going to put themselves in if something like that happened. But
bold prediction, by the way, everybody relax.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we put bold in front of them, because they're not just predictions; they're bold, as in like, man, these would be crazy if they happened. But I'm not keeping up, and I don't care, and we shouldn't either. But I don't know. Has any of our bold predictions hit at all this year yet? Like this one? Okay, good. Because I know mine haven't. I don't think. But yeah, it's part of it. It's a part of all the fun. But either way, also, guys, I talked about the players. This is random, but the players that are third in the SEC in offense. I also just was today years old when I realized Quincy Rhodes is second in the SEC in sacks. Did you guys know that?
He led the SEC for a while because he had like 5 right out the gate. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's behind Cassius Howell for A&M, who has 9.5 sacks, by the way. Quincy Rhodes has 7. And it's just going to be a funny thing when Arkansas goes 2-10, but they have all these stat leaders in the top 5. Only at Arkansas, man. Only at Arkansas. So, but I tell you what, with the game going on today, we still have to get to our Bet Saracen prop plays, because there are a lot of great ones to choose from with the Bet Saracen app. It's the number 1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas, and it's the official presenting sponsor of our Inside Arkansas Football pregame, as well as post-game show. It's also going to be involved with our Pot at the Palace post-game show as well. But we appreciate Bet Saracen. And the reason we love Bet Saracen is not only because they are the number 1 sports betting app, but because of all the specials, all the prop plays, all the great stuff that they have. And if you want to get in on the action, if you're starting to feel not only for this Razorback football game, but for basketball, they have some of those going on. They have, of course, all the college football games, all the NFL. They got future bets, each and everything you can possibly want. Do it with the Bet Saracen app. And all you do is click the link in the description below, and it'll take you to download the app. And when you download the app, you use a code INSIDEAR. This INSIDEAR, every time you use that code, folks, you'll get the deal of when you bet $25, you get $125. It's free money. It's free money that you can get only with us here at Inside Arkansas. So again, click the link below in the description, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. Download the app today. Use code INSIDEAR, and you'll bet $25 to get $125 with Bet Saracen. All right, so looking at some of the great prop plays that are always going on. And I'll be honest, my college football success, if you want to call it that, with sports betting with Bet Saracen, a lot of it has come from some of these prop plays. Some of these have hit. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to start this one off with one that I really like from Bet Saracen, because at some point in time, it's going to happen. Rohan Jones, over 2.5 receptions, over 51.5 yards receiving, plus 400. That guy just I feel like he gets 15, 20 yards a pop every time he catches the ball. I think that they're going to go towards him a little bit, because if you guys remember last year, what was the tight end game for Arkansas last year? It's Mississippi State.
Caught 2 touchdowns.
That's right. Yeah. It was a Posky. I think he even has maybe caught one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was tight end in that game. I think it's going to be a little bit of that too. Rohan's been awesome, and I think he's going to have a big game. So give me Rohan over 2.5 receptions and over 51.5 yards receiving for plus 400.
I like it. Yeah, literally anything that Rohan is involved in, and they got several props for him, and somehow, some way, you still get a great return. And he's just good for it, man. What is he averaging now? Like 35 yards a reception, and so there are several of them with big odds there for him that I guarantee you that I'll be sprinkling on. There have been weeks where that's been my only saving grace. Rohan, I just get crushed in the betting, but I wound up breaking even because he saves me, man. I was looking at a couple of these other ones in the the game specials that they have, because I always find that interesting. And one, I don't think this is crazy because again, I don't think either defense is very good. Each team to score one receiving and one rushing touchdown in each half, plus 1,500. Why not? I have this predicted to be a high scoring game. So that's one that I find to be interesting. And you've got both, like Arkansas to score 50 plus points at plus 550. They scored damn near 60, I believe, in this game last year. And then you have Mississippi State to score 50 plus points at plus 1,000. And their offense has been up and down this year, but Arkansas has the worst defense in the history of the SEC, and Mississippi State did just put 38 on Texas's head. So it's not crazy if you have another situation where they're out there casual, they're playing slightly below the level of their competition, and we have a little bit of that let go of the rope factor. Wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody really hung a bunch of points on the board.
I was just going to say, Curtis, did you not want to go with the Arkansas to score 80 plus points? Because that is a special on this for plus 6,000, which is so funny because that's more likely than Arkansas to not score a touchdown at plus 7,500. So just wild stuff, man.
If we have to sit and watch this football game, I go back to my thought process of, would you rather have a really good offense or really good defense? Score a bunch of points. Let's have it be a shootout. Bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of highlights. We have done this song and dance before with a 7-3 Arkansas and Mississippi State football game. No, bad boy. If it's going to be a clunker between two bad teams, score a bunch of points, man. At least entertain us.
And I do think we are going to get that for sure. Real quick, I know, John, you mentioned the yards per reception one for Rohan, which is unbelievable how consistent it is. There's also the one where he just has to get 51.5 yards. 2.5 receptions plus 400. Love that one. I've got a couple team ones that I actually like. One of which includes the defense. I want some sacks. I want some sacks, and I think Arkansas just needs to get 2 of them. You got the SEC leader. I know that Arkansas's had several games with 0, but yeah, who says Arkansas can't get 2 sacks and then Mississippi State to get 3? I forgot to write down the odds on that one, but I think it's like plus 350. It's like pretty solid. It's one of the bigger odds ones. Another one that I like that's plus 325, Arkansas over 272.5 passing yards, over 198.5 rushing yards. We typically do the Taylon Green props. This one does not need to be Taylon Green. So if hypothetically he were to get benched and his backup were to come in and light it up, this could still hit. And if Arkansas just has a game where they kind of run the ball like crazy and then, get a few huge pass plays, that's a lot of yardage. That's a high bar I'm setting for them, but I think we all expect this game has the potential to have a lot of points. And so even if Arkansas doesn't win, I think they can put up a lot of points and maybe cash the yardage one. That's plus 325.
Plus 220 for the sack prop you had.
Is it really only plus 220?
Yeah.
I don't like it nearly as much.
Yeah. Well, another random one that I liked, and this is, of course, assuming and hoping that Andrew's bold prediction doesn't come true, but how about Taylon Green for over 63.5 passing percentage, which I know is somewhat high, but he can do it, and over 39.5 being the longest pass play, 39.5 yards, plus 200. I'm like, that feels like it's gonna
every game he completes at least 140-yard pass.
Yeah,
and usually it's multiple.
Yeah. That's
usually it's to Rohan.
Yeah. I may just put money down on every Rohan prop because they all kind of go hand in hand a little bit. So
I'm gonna do that, and if we get a combination of an Arkansas loss and a Rohan no-show, I'm just going to be down bad.
Yeah. No, that would be the ultimate thing of like a Rohan, which is, you mentioned the over half a receiving touchdown and over 33.5 yards per reception, plus 350, mixed in with the over 2.5 receptions and over 51.5 yards receiving, plus 400, mixed in with the over 3.5 receiving targets and over 34.5 yards after catch, plus 400. Dude, he could have all that knocked out in the first half, and just that would be a great day at Saracen. So, but yeah, so those are great. And again, with Bet Saracen, you got a few of them. We talked about some of the team ones. The other one, real quick, was when we were talking about the team specials. Curtis, you mentioned that each team to score 1 plus receiving touchdown, 1 plus rushing touchdown each half, which I do like at plus 1,500. I thought it was interesting. The each team to score 2+ touchdowns and 2+ field goals is at plus 900. I feel like that would be a pretty common one too, right? I mean, just it doesn't matter when they do it. It's just each team to have 2 touchdowns and each team to kick 2 field goals. I don't know what Mississippi State's field goal situation is like though, so maybe I need to look that up. But either way,
Arkansas screwed us on that one last week.
Yeah, they did.
They got the 2 touchdowns and the field goal like immediately. It just didn't score at all after that.
And then they allowed like a record-setting amount of field goals from Auburn.
Yeah, that was just absurd. Hey, and just for fun, also I'm put money down on Arkansas to win all their conference games in basketball this year, plus 25,000.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, because they're not losing this year, 40-0. That's how it's going to be.
They're not really. We're not really about to have the 3 SEC home games in a row and go over after all that pissing and moaning that we've heard about the schedule and it's not fair and we don't play at home for that. You get 3 in a row. You can't lose all 3. I don't care who your head coach is. Come on, man.
I promise you they can, Curtis.
Yeah.
They can.
They are capable. That's just unfortunate, but they are capable.
Hey, I'm the one that's been picking them to lose every week and not to beat the hell out of everybody. So,
Yeah, John had a combined 100-point win for Arkansas last week.
I know. I can't believe that didn't work out. They've usually always come through.
It was tracking that direction for a half.
Yeah, it's the same. It's it's how it always is. You feel good for a split second, and then it'd be just get a win. Also, the weather looks pretty nice for the most part. It's a good fall weather, good fall day. That's good. I think 3:00 kick, so it's not a morning or anything like that. So yeah,
we get an extra hour of sleep after. So I think that's gonna factor into this game. These players know, hey, we can empty the tank a little bit. You get that extra hour of sleep. It changes things a little bit.
It's gonna kick in my seasonal depression. There's nothing where it's 4:30, pitch black outside. I hate it so much.
Yep, it is the worst. It is the absolute worst. So we'll get into some final comments and also look ahead to this game and some other things too. But want to remind everybody that Goat Lab Red and Goat Lab Brewery are the places for your game day tradition here in Fayetteville, especially Goat Lab Red, the new place, because we've done shows there. It's an awesome spot, 1214 North Garland Avenue. And anytime you go there, you'll see exactly what all the hubbub is about, because they got the signature burgers that are incredible. They have the progressive wing deals going on during the games. And they also have great brews, Goat Lab brews, that is, like Razorback, Tusk Light, and it's right there at Goat Lab Red in their location at 1214 North Garland. And you can go there for the game, for pregame, during the game, even after the game. It's the place to be for any Razorback Saturday like today. So if you're looking for a great place to watch the game, looking for a great place to get some great drinks, some great food, some great vibes, they got TVs there. You can watch all the games, including the Razorback one. Do it with Goat Lab Red there in Fayetteville, 1214 North Garland Avenue. It's Goat Lab Red, your new game day tradition. All right, guys. So kind of looking at some of the other things going on in college football. Other games, if you're a Razorback fan, and maybe not thinking Bobby Petrino or whatever, so there are going to be some coaches in their games today that you're going to be watching for, looking for, seeing if they're still going to be on your list as you're like, I don't know. That was barely a win over this team. Like, how you feel like Razorback fans are going to be looking at some of these other coaches and matchups?
But they'll definitely be living and dying based on the weekly result of all those guys. This is what we've been doing for the last several weeks here, which is a lot of fun. I'll be watching all those. I got my eyes on, SMU as they take on Miami. Like that's a big spot there for Rhett Lashley. They had a nasty loss to Wake last week, so an opportunity for him to regain some good faith with the Razorback fan base and climb up the Inside Arkansas polls there. But honestly, more than that, I'm going to be watching the other places with hot seat coaches because I think that might impact things more. Like I know, like Auburn and Kentucky play, for example. Is loser out? You know what I mean? So, and Kentucky or Auburn, you think about a guy like John Summerall, and it's going to change the pecking order a little bit. I would have Arkansas as a better job than Kentucky personally, but not Auburn. Those are the things that I'm going to be watching. That game in particular is going to be one. And I'll have my eyes on all of it. There's no doubt.
How about our boy Eric Morris? Potentially the second Razorback Morris to take over as head coach at North Texas. He's got a sneaky, massive game. 7-1 North Texas versus 7-0 Navy in the rain.
Ooh.
The game's kicking off in like 30 minutes. In the rain against the Service Academy, you should be able to take care of business here.
That's a fun one.
But that is a big one. I mean, I didn't realize Navy was undefeated, honestly.
Oh.
But yeah, North Texas wins that game. They're 8-1. Probably not gonna, I don't think they're gonna end up sneaking in the playoff or anything. But it's like, they can put themselves in position to kind of be in the mix for at least a big bowl game or ranking, all that fun stuff. And that would be quite the statement to make.
It might be sad, but it's like there's coaches that could look at from other games that Arkansas could be interested or not interested or whatever it is. But I'm also looking at some of these teams that might end up actually firing their coach. Like for instance, Hugh Freeze and Auburn, they play Kentucky, and it's like if you lose, it's one thing if you lose to Arkansas, which whatever they didn't, but if you lose to Kentucky, is that going to be at home of all places? Is that the final nail in the coffin for him? And what kind of impact does that have? It could be the case. So does that play something in here? There's some other teams that I know that people are watching. Sometimes I forget that Georgia Tech's number 8. I know that's random, but like just like, oh, Georgia Tech. Okay, sure. They're number 8 in the country. So, but Arkansas can't win. They can't win at a high level. But yeah, I think the ones that you guys mentioned are great. I know our guy Ryan Silverfield already had it last night, so I can't say what we were watching him today for what could transpire. But
that was a great game, John.
My hope is, guys, that we have a coach next week that we get to do a make the case for that no one's thought of, and just kind of like emerges. Someone's like, what about this person? And then suddenly you start seeing message board stuff and just be like, I've been hearing they're at the powerhouse locally. It was like over here. And it's all of a sudden it's like, what do I know? This guy makes sense. He really fits everything we're doing. I'm hoping that happens from something this week where some random coach has a big win and suddenly Razorback fans are like, him, that's the guy. And then we get to do a making the case for that guy that we never even thought of. I don't know who that would be, but I'm hoping for it.
Yeah. I wonder.
Like someone like Middle Tennessee's coach. I think actually, no, never mind. I think that's Derek Mason. No,
well, what if if Bob Chesney gets another win, then everybody's like Kurt Signetti,
Yeah.
What about the California football coach, Justin Wilcox, who, by the way, Cal has maybe my favorite quarterback in college football. They beat number 15 Virginia at home, which would clinch bowl eligibility, make Cal 6-3. I could see him getting a win and people being like, what about this guy that goes 5-7 every year?
Yep. I could see that too. Who I should know this. Who's Houston's coach?
Willie Fritz.
Hey,
so Willie Fritz, bro. Now Willie Fritz is old. I'm not going to make the case for Willie Fritz, but Willie Fritz is a damn good football coach. I don't necessarily want him to be Arkansas's coach. I'm surprised more people don't look at Willie Fritz and say, why don't we go after that guy? Just because his resume is pretty unshakable, if you ask me.
Well, you just spoke it into existence. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to end up being him.
I think the Rhett Lashley game, by the way, though, is the biggest one. The Rhett Lashley versus Miami. That's the one that really is going to have the most stakes, probably.
Yeah, because if he loses, then everyone's like, do we really want a coach that loses to Miami? And then it's going to be another. If he wins, you'll be like, oh, we have no chance. Why would he leave? He's beating Miami. So it's always going to be that great stuff. So, but either way, also real quick, Urban Meyer's not interested in returning. So don't even mention his name. He's
officially.
He's made the statement.
I am grateful that we haven't heard much about that throughout this last month.
Dude, I think the Jacksonville Jaguar thing really ruined any sort of shine he had. Really, really ruined it quickly. So
was it that the coaching specifically, or
was that he was kicking players, having assaulting them, just a lot of stuff.
And he went back to that bar in Columbus and had that girl sitting on him.
That's what I was thinking.
He was like, I think that clip alone that ruined everything. I feel.
Yeah. Now I remember that. In that case, hire the man. We need somebody with a little edge, a little crazy.
Arkansas cannot have a coach with sketchy morals as the head coach.
No. It's got to be squeaky clean. Those are always the winners. Well, guys, any final thoughts about this wonderful matchup today between Arkansas and Mississippi State?
We started thinking about morals and squeak. I started thinking about PJ Fleck again. Gosh, man. My thoughts are that Arkansas is going to look better than they did against Auburn, and it'll be a more entertaining football game. But I'm still sticking to what I've been sticking to for the last several weeks here. Until they do it, I'm not picking it to happen. Got Arkansas losing a one-score game in a shootout. I don't remember what I can't remember if I said 41-38, maybe 38-35, something high scoring there. One-score loss. it's going to be frustrating if it goes down that way, but I will not pick Arkansas to win another football game until it happens, and then I'll be back on the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I have been picking Arkansas to win games here and there. Well, not really that many. I picked them to beat Auburn. I really don't think I picked them to beat anybody else,
which is not a crazy thing to do.
No.
But
no. I drank the Kool-Aid last week, and I will never do that again. I do have Arkansas losing this game. Y'all ever played a video game with one of your buddies, and then you realize that the buddy plays the video game way more than you, and so he's beating you, and then you immediately stop trying to beat him, and you're just like, dude, really, you care that much about this game? Like, really, you're playing so hard on this game? Like, relax, dude. It's freaking 2K. Like, you'll be okay. I think that's kind of going to be the vibe for Arkansas today of like Mississippi State, I think, is going to be focused. I think they're going to be motivated. I think they're going to be ready to play. I think they are coming into this game thinking, hey, this is an opportunity for us to get a win. And I think Arkansas is just, frankly, not going to match that motivation. I don't think Arkansas is going to quit on the field. I don't think they're going to let go of the rope. I don't think they're going to just completely roll over. And frankly, I don't even know if Mississippi State's a good enough team to make you roll over and make you quit. But I do just think like it's a game of inches. You know, the man in any fight, it's the man that's willing to die that's going to get that inch. I just think Arkansas is not going to get that inch. I think if there's a close play to be made, Arkansas is not going to make it. If there is a block that you need to like kind of get there quickly and make, I just don't think Arkansas is going to make it. If there is an inch to be gotten, I don't think Arkansas is going to get that inch. I think Mississippi State wins this game 42-31. And I think it is going to be a very interesting, kind of moment where Arkansas has to really realize we are in one of the worst seasons we've ever seen of Razorback football. I also think for the seniors, I know, and by the way, they're not listening to this because they're getting ready to go play. I just really want to see some of these guys take some pride. Listen, I know that it doesn't bother y'all that like the Hogs suck because y'all don't care about the Hogs. I know y'all don't really care about us, but care about yourself, man. Like seriously, I have a buddy who played at LSU, Matt. He pitched at LSU, and I always mess with him because he went to LSU for 5 years and never won a College World Series. Only went to one College World Series, was only a part of like 2 teams that were even competent. And I'm like, dude, it's crazy that you went to LSU baseball for 5 years and you never won anything. Like, that is actually kind of crazy. I mess with him about that. And it eats away at him that he played in the SEC, he played at a high level, and he wasn't a part of anything special. Obviously, these Razorbacks aren't going to be a part of anything, like, don't have that opportunity. I just think they're going to be 34, 35 years old, working some dead-end job and hating their lives and hating their wives. And they're going to be looking back and being like, damn, dude, I was playing in the SEC and I didn't care. And I rolled over and quit. And I was a part of one of the most embarrassing teams in Razorback sports history. Like, I don't think that's something that cares for these guys now. I know they don't care. I think you will care at some point in your life. And you're going to look back and you'll be like, damn, dude, I really just wasted a golden opportunity. Like, we just basically were a part of a complete nothing burger of a team. I think that should piss them off more than it does, frankly.
No, I'm with you. And here's the deal. It's funny. In our predictions on our Razorback update the other day, you both had Arkansas losing a 3-point game. Dudley Dawson had Arkansas losing a 3-point game. I had Arkansas losing 42-24. And I hope I'm wrong. And here's the thing is I don't think Arkansas is going to win. I agree with everything you guys have said. And this is going to sound cliche and lame, but my final thought is I really want you to. For the reasons we talked about for Petrino, I want that for Bobby. I want that for him. I want that for the players, Talon, all those guys to where, especially like Talon is crazy that he's going to have a worse season than he did a year ago when his statistics, and I know he hasn't been great all the time, but it's like his stats, he's a better quarterback than what he was before. Mike Washington coming in here, Omega Blake, like all those guys that just to get that sense of victory because it's been so long, but also, and maybe most importantly, for the fans at home. Like you have not had any home fun at all this year. Last year, again, the Tennessee game is the anomaly. You've had one game in 3+ years at home that has been good, or at least like ended in a result that you were happy with. Because I'm telling you right now, if you lose this game, there's going to be maybe double the amount of Missouri fans for that Missouri game. I mean, again, I don't blame any fan for not going to it. If you're going into that game 2-9, I don't blame a Razorback fan at all for not going to that. But this is your last legitimate chance, not only to get a win, but to get a win at home for your fans, for everybody that paid all the money to go and to just do it for them, if anybody. And that's what I'm hopeful for. I hope I'm wrong. I want Arkansas to win. I'm going to be rooting like crazy for them to win. But I want them to win just for everybody, just to get it off, just to have it and to no longer have this over streak. Because, man, we talked about the 0-8 being, that would be what was I said, the fourth time in 12 years. If you go 2-10, that would be the third time in 6 years or 7 years. Sheesh. Like, just can't do it. But either way, just go win. Just shut me up and win. That's all I ask for. Appreciate everybody watching in, though. I know football isn't the most fun, but we appreciate everybody still sticking with us, still rocking with us, because we're still going to keep doing it, still talking football, still all that great stuff. Appreciate Bet Saracen for being our presenting sponsor here on the Inside Arkansas pregame show. And don't forget, following Arkansas, Mississippi State, we'll have the Inside Arkansas postgame show presented by Bet Saracen. All the reactions, and hopefully it's positive vibes for a change. And hopefully it's a win for Arkansas. But no matter what, we'll be going live as soon as the game ends. And that'll do it for us today on the Inside Arkansas Football pregame show. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel for every single pregame show for Razorback